Deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, a new look at the legendary Titanic. These fresh images exposing an altered landscape 2.5 miles underwater. The ship's most recognizable feature, the iconic bow, showing signs of inevitable decay.
In 2024, a high-tech underwater drone descended 12,500 feet to the Titanic wreck, and what it captured shook the world. As its LED lights pierced the pitch-black silence, it revealed eerily preserved rooms, children's shoes frozen in place, and skeletal remains untouched for 113 years. But then the drone's camera turned toward a sealed corridor, and the footage stopped. What happened next was classified. Those who saw it said only one thing: it wasn't just a shipwreck down there. Descent into the abyss. At 12,500 feet below the surface of the North Atlantic, nearly 2.5 miles of cold, crushing water separates a modern research vessel from one of history's most famous wrecks, the RMS Titanic. On a clear morning in July 2025, the mission team anchored directly above the ship's recorded position, roughly 41 degrees, 43 minutes, 32 seconds north, 49 degrees, 56 minutes, 49 seconds west. Waves rocked gently on the surface, but underneath lay a world untouched for more than 113 years. As the crew prepared to deploy their deep-sea drone, the weight of what lay beneath was palpable. The underwater drone itself was a marvel of engineering. Built from titanium alloys and reinforced composites able to withstand pressures exceeding 6,000 psi, it carried arrays of ultra-bright LED lights, 8K high-definition cameras, and multi-beam sonar. Its thrusters were optimized for silent maneuvering, a necessity when exploring silt-choked corridors where every fin adjustment could stir centuries-old sediment. Engineers had tested the craft in lab chambers simulating depths of 12,000 feet, but nothing compared to the real abyss. On deck, the mission team was a blend of disciplines: deep-sea archaeologists with decades of Titanic experience, marine engineers who designed the drone's pressure hull, veteran pilots trained in ROV, remotely operated vehicle, operations, sonar mapping experts and preservation specialists focused on documenting wreck integrity without physical disturbance. Each specialist wore noise-canceling headsets as the drone's launch sequence began. Tension hummed beneath their focused calm. Before launch, meticulous checks spanned 45 minutes. Tether integrity verified for the 7,000-meter cable. Thruster calibration measured to within plus or minus 0.5 millimeters per second. Light intensity tuned to avoid overly disturbing silt, and sonar arrays tested for interference. At exactly 10:15 UTC, the pilot initiated descent. On monitors, blinking markers signaled the beginning of the plunge, glowing particles drifting past the drone's lights like cosmic dust in an underwater void. The silence was deep, total, and unnerving, as the drone sank toward a wreckage that had rested undisturbed since April 15, 1912. As the drone entered the dark Atlantic depths, its sensors began to pick up the first fragments of Titanic's debris field. In Section 2, we explore the ghostly exterior emerging from the silt and rust. First, look at the Titanic's ghostly exterior. After more than 1 hour of descent, the drone's sonar pinged off the first signs of the wreck site, echo patterns hinting at a sprawling debris field scattered over hundreds of square meters. Triangulating data placed the limits of the field roughly plus or minus 15 meters from the official wreck coordinates established in 1985. On the main video feed, the first visual cues appeared: twisted metal fragments, broken wood planks, and a jumble of objects once part of daily life aboard the Olympic-class liner. Then came the moment every engineer and archaeologist had been waiting for: the unmistakable silhouette of Titanic's bow section, partially buried in silt. The iconic shape protruded from the ocean floor like a fossilized leviathan, its rusted hull flaking iron oxide formations known as rusticles. Every corner and surface told a story of slow decay across decades of submerged existence. The drone's floodlights, calibrated to 4,500 lumens each, revealed contours and shapes that had never been photographed from these angles before. Surrounding fragments hinted at the violent final moments of the ship on April 14th to 15th, 1912. Bent support beams, detached railing segments, and wooden timbers splayed in radial patterns suggested the chaotic collapse that followed the iceberg collision at 11:40 p.m. ship time, flooding compartments until the hull broke apart at approximately 2:20 a.m. Personal items, a child's shoe, a pocket watch stopped at 2:18 a.m., and fragments of luggage lay scattered among the wreckage, preserved not by design, but by cold, darkness, and pressure. Before attempting any interior exploration, the team performed an exterior scan to assess structural weaknesses and identify sections sealed for more than a century. Data relayed in real time to the surface showed areas of significant collapse and others still rigidly intact. The control room buzzed with a mix of excitement and reverence. Here was alien beauty in rust and ruin, a silent history lesson written in metal and marine growth beneath miles of water. With the drone's exterior survey complete, the team prepared to enter the wreck's narrow corridors where time appears to stand still. Section 3 covers the engineering triumph and tragic history embodied by Titanic's design, the titan of engineering and tragedy. The RMS Titanic was one of the marvels of early 20th century engineering, launched with celebration on April 10, 1912 at Belfast's Harland and Wolff shipyards. At 882 feet 9 inches, 269 meters, long and displacing over 46,000 tons, she was the largest passenger liner of her era. Her designers boasted of 16 watertight compartments, believed sufficient to keep her afloat even if several were breached. That confidence led to her being widely, and tragically, dubbed unsinkable, a label that would haunt history. Inside, the Titanic combined unparalleled luxury with cutting-edge marine technology of her time. First-class accommodations featured mahogany paneling, intricately carved furniture, and crystal chandeliers. The grand staircase, a sweeping oak and wrought iron structure spanning multiple decks, was both architectural focal point and social hub. Dining salons boasted fine china and linen fit for royalty, and even second-class cabins offered comforts beyond many contemporary ocean liners. Yet on the fateful night of April 14, 1912, at approximately 11:40 p.m. ship time, Titanic struck an iceberg in the cold waters of the North Atlantic near latitude 41 degrees 43 minutes 32 seconds north. The collision opened 5 compartments to the sea, overwhelming her buoyant design. Over the next 2 hours and 40 minutes, water spread relentlessly across decks, extinguishing lights and sending distress calls around 12:15 a.m. and again at 2:05 a.m. before she finally sank at 2:20 a.m. on April 15th. More than 1,500 of the estimated 2,224 passengers and crew perished that night. Far more than enough tragedy to ensure Titanic's place in global memory. The disaster reshaped maritime safety forever, leading to the establishment of the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS, in 1914, requiring adequate lifeboats for all aboard and 24-hour radio watches. Titanic became more than a ship. She became a symbol of human ambition, engineering confidence, and the unforgiving power of nature. Having placed Titanic's brilliance and tragedy in context, the next step is to bring the drone inside. In Section 4, we explore the drone's first interior entry into the broken corridors. Inside the wreck. At approximately 15:45 UTC, Aurora 7 reached the first gap in Titanic's hull and initiated its carefully controlled entry. The drone's ultra-bright LED lights, 8,000 lumens, pierced the pitch darkness at depths approaching 12,500 feet, illuminating rusted railings, collapsed walls, and a haze of silt particles suspended like ghostly fireflies. The temperature sensor read a steady 2.3 degrees Celsius, reminding the team above that this was a world untouched by sunlight for more than 113 years. Inside the wreck, the frame groaned under the immense ocean pressure, yet certain chambers remained impossibly preserved. A narrow corridor near what once was Deck B revealed chairs positioned as if awaiting passengers, and fixtures frozen mid-use. The drone's 4K cameras picked up fragile latticework in iron that, over decades, had become rustical formations, icicle-like mineral growths born of oxidation and deep-sea chemistry. Navigation wasn't easy. The once grand corridors now lay choked with collapsed floors and tiered steel beams. Every thrust adjustment, calibrated to within plus or minus 0.2 centimeters per second, aimed to avoid disturbing millennia of untouched silt that could reduce visibility to zero. In some rooms, a slight fin movement sent clouds cascading, obscuring intricate details from view and forcing the drone to hover back until the particles settled again. Even with these challenges, early interior scans revealed structural remnants long speculated by historians but never seen. A collapsed grand column near the forward foyer suggested the ship's original span was sturdier than previously documented. As the team reviewed in real time, sonar and optical overlap presented the most comprehensive interior map of Titanic's remains. Every data packet sent up the 7,000-meter tether enriched the collective understanding of her tragic final hours. Having entered and recorded previously hidden corridors and artifacts, the team turned its attention to the tools that made this possible. Section 5 covers the advanced technology that enabled deep ocean discovery without disturbing history itself. Tools of discovery. Exploring Titanic's depths required technologies built for conditions most submarines never face. At 12,500 feet, about 3,810 meters depth, pressures exceed 5,500 pounds per square inch, psi, roughly 375 times surface atmospheric levels, threatening to crush ordinary materials. To survive, Aurora 7's frame was constructed from high-grade titanium alloys and composite ceramics, delivering strength without undue weight and allowing it to operate where water behaves like solid rock. The drone's optical system paired ultra-high-definition 8K cameras with multispectral floodlights to capture details invisible to the naked sensor. This combination let researchers see textures on rusted bulkheads, remnants of engraved numbers on corroded brass plates, and patterns in debris that hint at original placement. Combined with a multi-beam laser scanner, the system generated precise depth maps with accuracy within plus or minus 1 centimeter, even in low visibility. Live tethered data transfer, an industry first at these depths, ensured uninterrupted power and real-time imagery. The 7,000-meter fiber optic tether doubled as both relay and lifeline, feeding video, LiDAR, and sonar back to the Odysseus Command Center. This connectivity eliminated lag and guaranteed that every scan update would be available instantly to archaeologists and engineers, some watching from remote labs across 3 continents. Artificial intelligence assisted in keeping the drone stable in unpredictable deep-sea currents. The AI steering module adjusted thrusters 128 times per second based on micro-pressure shifts and sonar feedback, allowing Aurora 7 to navigate narrow hallways without stirring centuries of suspended silt. These technological tools made what was once the realm of speculation into concrete data, allowing humanity to witness the Titanic's silent interior in unprecedented detail. With advanced technology capturing every inch of the wreck's interior, the team moved on to create comprehensive records. Section 6 details how mapping the Titanic's forgotten spaces reshaped historical understanding. Mapping forgotten spaces. Once Aurora 7 completed its interior passes, the surveillance team began compiling data into a multi-dimensional 3D model, the most detailed reconstruction ever made of the Titanic's interior since she sank on April 15, 1912. Using combined LiDAR point clouds, photogrammetry, and sonar layering, every corridor, compartment, and collapsed section became part of an interactive virtual map, with measurements accurate to within plus or minus 1 centimeter across hundreds of square meters. Some interiors defied expectations. Previous dives suggested total collapse of certain decks, but detailed scans revealed surprisingly intact chambers. In what was once a first-class reading room, portions of the corner shelving and fittings remained recognizable despite rusticious decay, suggesting that localized structural integrity lasted far longer underwater than earlier estimates predicted. These insights forced a reevaluation of how different sections endured deep-sea conditions for over 113 years. One of the most haunting aspects captured in the digital model was the framework of the grand staircase. Although partially collapsed, traces of its sweeping curves, the decorative newel posts, remnants of balustrades, and partial supports appeared in layered scans. Rusticles clung to the skeletal iron, and where silt filled voids, the LiDAR arrays recorded precise contours that matched early architectural blueprints from the ship's 1911 construction. The model also documented personal artifacts, suitcases, fragments of clothing, and porcelain tableware, frozen in place. These became virtual markers on the 3D map, pinpointed by coordinates and time-stamped in the database for future reference. With this map, historians could trace probable movement patterns of passengers and crew during Titanic's final moments. What once was scattered wreckage became a detailed, navigable record, a digital archive preserving memory and tragedy in 3 dimensions, never touching the physical remnants. With forgotten spaces documented and digitally archived, the onboard team grew bold. In Section 7, the drone encountered an unexplored sealed doorway, a hint of hidden mysteries yet untold. The sealed doorway and rising tension hours. Into the mission, the drone's sonar picked up a distinct anomaly in an unexplored sector near the Titanic's starboard hull, roughly 60 meters from the visible debris field. The high-frequency sonar returned a clear outline, a collapsed opening framed by intact beams, a rectangular doorway roughly 2.1 meters tall and 1.2 meters wide. This sealed doorway appeared in a section previously assumed inaccessible, deep under twisted wreckage and rust formations. Its presence suggested a chamber not thoroughly explored since the 1912 sinking. As the drone's LED lights swept across the entrance, the control room fell silent. The doorway was framed almost perfectly with timbers and metal girders bearing bolt patterns consistent with original White Star Line construction, not random collapsed detritus. Radar signatures near the frame suggested slight voids behind the blockage, air pockets or undisturbed silt, raising the possibility of a space sealed since the day the ship sank. Even after 113+ years on the ocean floor, this sector seemed largely untouched. Despite the temptation to breach the doorway for interior exploration, the team elected restraint. Ethical concerns regarding disturbing sediment and compromising the preservation of untouched spaces prevailed. The doorway became a symbol of all that remains unknown and possibly sacrosanct beneath the waves. It stood as a quiet reminder that even as technology pushes deeper, some parts of Titanic's story might still resist eager discovery. With unexplored sectors presenting ethical and historical complexity, Section 8 examines how the team balanced reverence and science, and why Titanic exploration always navigates respect for the dead alongside discovery. Ethics beneath the waves. The Titanic wreck site is more than a historical artifact. It's a mass grave where over 1,500 souls perished on April 15, 1912. That profound loss places unique ethical responsibilities on every exploration mission. Scientists, engineers, and historians agree that documenting the ship must be done with restraint and dignity. Placing cameras near skeletal remains or personal belongings isn't just science. It's a moral act that demands respect for human life and sorrow that still echoes across generations. The control room grappled with a key question: should raw footage of solemn scenes be shared publicly? On one hand, transparency satisfies historical curiosity and advances knowledge. On the other, the families of victims, whose descendants number in the thousands today, might find graphic imagery painful or intrusive. Across communications with descendant groups, reactions varied. Some appreciated respectful documentation, others feared voyeurism or commercialization of tragedy. The team decided that contextual framing would be essential in any release, emphasizing remembrance over spectacle. With ethical guidelines guiding operations, the internal survey shifted toward analysis. Section 9 explores how surprisingly preserved corridors and debris offered new insight into the Titanic's final moments, clues to Titanic's final hours. As the drone continued its meticulous interior survey, unexpected preservation patterns emerged, challenging assumptions about how Titanic broke and flooded on the night of April 14th to 15th, 1912. In multiple corridors once thought collapsed, intact frameworks appeared, with support beams and floor girders still standing at angles suggesting progressive structural failure rather than instant disintegration. Data logged by 3D laser scanners revealed remnants of original flooring measuring approximately 30 to 45 centimeters wide in sections thought lost. Objects frozen in place, chairs braced against walls, suitcase fragments near cabin entries, and personal shoes alongside luggage created a startling snapshot of human motion in those final moments. radar and optical imaging indicated orders of debris consistency not matching the widely accepted timeline of flooding. Instead of near-instant collapse of interior bulkheads, the evidence pointed to staggered flooding, where compartments held longer than previously modeled, redirecting flow through unexpected routes. With new insights into the ship's final hours emerging from interior scans, Section 10 turns to the most haunting discovery yet: chilling footage that stunned the world and deepened the mission's emotional weight. The footage that stunned the world. The team programmed the drone to explore one final, remote chamber, a space believed sealed from direct seawater impact since 1912. As the craft's LED arrays illuminated the interior, the live feed revealed an uncanny tableau of furniture, folded linens, and personal effects frozen in place by time. These weren't random fragments. They were arrangements that suggested daily life moments snapped mid-routine: a dining chair beside a polished table, a teacup near a lidded container. Then, a scene that sent chills throughout the control room. Under a collapsed beam, the drone's high-resolution cameras captured what appeared to be human remains: skeletal figures draped in what could be remnants of early 20th century clothing. One skeleton, diminutive in size and positioned near what looked like a child's chest pocket, raised the possibility that a young passenger had sought shelter here. The sight was silent, permanent, and profoundly human, the starkest reminder of the disaster's toll. Close by, on the chamber floor, lay a single adult leather shoe, intact except for ocean wear, its sole still bearing tread patterns typical of period footwear. Its placement near the smaller skeleton suggested a guardian figure, a parent or caretaker, present in Titanic's final moments. The drone's light traced shadows over a rusted pocket watch, its hands forever stopped at 2:18 a.m., just minutes before the ship's final plunge at approximately 2:20 a.m. The feed went silent in the control room. Technicians, historians, and marine archaeologists stared in stunned reverence. This was not just data, it was living memory. Individuals once vibrant, now resting deeply beneath miles of ocean. The footage transcended historical record. It was a chilling human testament, a bridge from the present to that April night in 1912 when hope, panic, courage, and tragedy intertwined. In that moment, the Titanic's story was no longer academic. It was visceral. The Titanic remains a haunting symbol of ambition, tragedy, and now, mystery. As technology peels back layers of history, what lies beneath may be more than rusted metal. The footage is real, the silence is real, and the question echoes louder than ever: what else is still trapped down there?